It's not Christmas until, how would you fill in the blank? Here's what a very scientific Facebook poll among my friends this week found out. It's not Christmas until the lights and tree are up. We get to sing carols together. I've watched my favorite holiday movie, and I should note that the respondent to that particular comment said that A Muppet Christmas Carol was her favorite. It's not Christmas until the Christmas gospel is read. Until we send cards to all our friends and family and even the mail carrier. Snow, spoken like a true Midwesterner. Jesus, spoken like a true pastor. Until I bake the Christmas Stollen or Lefse or Spritz cookies. Until we sing Silent Night in the glow of candlelight. It's not Christmas until what? How would you fill in the blank? For many of us, it just wouldn't be Christmas without many of these things and more. Truly, there's a lot of traditions at this time of the year, as varied and unique as our own individual families and cultures. Memories and nostalgia come flooding back all over again when you unpack that one special ornament or you hear that one familiar carol. This year, the nostalgia is perhaps even more poignant as we grieve the loss of certain traditions and rituals. No brass belting out joy to the world. No candlelight glow in our darkened sanctuaries. No hugging our loved ones, if we get to see them at all. No Christkindl market in downtown Chicago. No big family dinners with all the cousins and in-laws and extended family. When I was growing up, it never quite felt like Christmas actually until after church on Christmas Eve. Typically, my family and I would go to one of the late afternoon services while it was still just a little bit light out. And it just never felt magical going to Christmas Eve church during the day. Only after, as we were leaving, when night had fallen, we would make our way to Grandma's house just a couple blocks away for a few cookies, and then to Kwang Tung for the traditional family Christmas Eve Chinese supper. And after filling ourselves with wonton soup and egg rolls and sweet and sour chicken, we'd begin the drive home, peering out the foggy car windows at our neighbors' Christmas lights. And then turning into our subdivision and down our street, we'd be greeted by rows of luminaries, usually emptied milk cartons weighted down with sand or kitty litter, with a candle placed inside, but something about Christmas Eve just made it seem so magical. Lining the streets like an airport runway and lighting the way through our neighborhood. Then, and only then, did it really feel like Christmas? Long after dark. I hardly think it felt much like Christmas to the shepherds keeping watch over their flock by night. It wasn't exactly a cozy night on the sofa in the glow of the Christmas tree sipping hot cocoa, and I certainly don't think the aroma was anything like a balsam and cedar Yankee candle. Which makes sense because, of course, Christmas wasn't really a thing yet. Until suddenly the shining light, the glory, the drama, the angels, out of nowhere, a flash of light and an angelic chorus. Can you imagine? If you've ever left a darkened movie theater during a matinee screening and walked out abruptly into the sunlight once again, or perhaps you've endured the rapid-fire flash of a camera where during a group photo, inevitably, that one person always says, "Oh, just one more with this camera," and you're left seeing spots for several minutes. Imagine something like that, but probably times 1,000. And then presumably in the same instant that the angels had appeared, they were gone, vanished, just like that, pitch black. The shepherds left fumbling in the dark, trying for the second time to readjust their vision. What now? What now? I confess it doesn't feel much like Christmas in these COVID-era days. But this year, though, I find the shepherd's experience relatable. It certainly doesn't or didn't feel like Christmas. What's Christmas, the shepherds might ask? Or feel like cause for celebrating much of anything to them, stunned and paralyzed and blinded as they were in the aftermath of this angelic proclamation. But their reaction is telling. I'm sure there was still deep skepticism and probably more questions than answers. But still they move with haste. They go to Bethlehem. They act on what they have heard and seen, and they go on their way rejoicing. There, even in the pitch black, following the blinding lights, even in the pitch black and in the uncertainty of the moment, is wonder and curiosity and faith-filled amazement. In the uncertainty of our present reality and the loss of many beloved traditions this year, it doesn't feel much like Christmas. And yet, it is. Christmas doesn't depend on any of our beloved nostalgic traditions, no matter how meaningful they are or how much we grieve their absence. If Dr. Seuss has taught us anything, it's that no Grinch or virus can steal Christmas from us. It came without ribbons, it came without tags, it came without packages, boxes, or bags, as all the Who's in Whoville flocked into their village square, joining hands to sing their hymn of Christmas joy. It's not Christmas until we receive the gift of the incarnation, the entering of God into our world, taking on human flesh and dwelling among us. And that's a gift that can't be stopped by a virus or anything else. Some of our traditions look different this year or take a pause entirely. But one thing is certain. It's Christmas because Christ has come. A light in the darkness, a beacon of hope in the weariness and in the isolation. The embodiment of the divine and the sacred in the midst of the ordinary, everyday stuff of life. Just as on that first Christmas, in the scrambling in the dark, in the shepherd's confusion and questions and doubts, under the cover of night, in the pitch black, there is the wonder and mystery of the Word made flesh, Emmanuel, God with us. Merry Christmas, dear church. Thanks be to God.